Hello, universe. This is Dr. Brian Dooley coming to you from beautifully sunny and blue Pickens, South Carolina. This, what are we, May 6th evening. And with me today, I've got one of my good buddies, Dr. Peter Morgan, who is one of the speakers on the docket at New Beginnings coming up on May 20th through 23rd, 2021. And so, Dr. Peter, A, how long have you been going to New Beginnings? And B, why do you keep going back?
Well, I've been going to New Beginnings since the very first one. I've missed two in all of these years. So I can see my whole career. I've graduated chiropractic school in '85. I went to DE for a few years. Then I started having kids. My first was born in 1990, my second in '92, and my third in '95. So at that particular time, to put everybody on a plane, it was more difficult. So we just drove down from New York to New Jersey, pretty easy deal. And right from the very first one, things started changing in my life. It goes back to I've completed 101 mission trips. Just 2 weeks ago, completed that. And my very first mission trip, I just missed my first chiropractic mission trip by a few months when Jim Sigafus went with Jim Duvall and Selena Sigafus and Webster, and they went to Haiti, and I just missed that one. But since I missed that one, I always had it in my mind to do one. And then in 2002, I went with a friend of mine, Todd Herold, to the Dominican Republic, and we brought our chiropractic tables, and we were adjusting some of the hotel workers, and one of the ladies asked me if I could adjust her mom, which she lived less than a mile away. And when we went to adjust her, it was the poorest village I had ever seen, and we were staying in this all-inclusive, beautiful resort. And so we couldn't even put our table in our house because they just had a little hut. So when we put our table out, all these people started coming around me, and I said, this has to be a mission trip to my friend Todd. And I went back to New Beginnings, my very first one. I made a flyer. This is 2002. I didn't even know how to make flyers back in the day. Computers weren't like they are now. So we made a flyer with the help of Brian Stensler, who then became president of California Chiropractic Association later on. But with the help of Brian, I created a flyer. I went back to New Beginnings. Jim put me on the stage, which was great. And then ever since then, I've been on the stage all the time. I put out a flyer. I had 7 chiropractors come on a mission trip. Then I had 7 testimonials. Then I had 14 chiropractors come on a mission trip. In 2008, I had MTV come on a mission trip. We had 106 chiropractors come on a mission trip. I got 50 chiropractic students coming on my next mission trip, which is in June. So this all started for me at New Beginnings. So I've only missed 2. My kids were born there. I raised there. We made great friends. All my friends are there. And, if it wasn't for New Beginnings, I don't know where I would be, really, to be honest with you. So my hat's off to New Beginnings for sure.
Well, it's interesting that you mention it because I've been going to New Beginnings 5-6 years now. And so I met you through New Beginnings because I met Jim, and Jim says, well, if you come to New Beginnings in May, I'll let you speak in October. And I said, okay. And usually when you ask Jim, what do you want me to speak about? He'll just tell you chiropractic. And so I'm like, well, that's a pretty broad subject. But I said, okay. But I remember this actually very vividly. I was in the Pickens County YMCA, and I was working out, and my phone buzzes, and it's a text from Jim. And he says, you got to get in touch with Dr. Peter Morgan. And I said, well, who the hell's Dr. Peter Morgan? And so he says, well, you got to get in touch with Dr. Morgan. He goes, because I want you to go to Haiti. I said, well, why the hell am I going to go to Haiti? And he said, well, that's where you'll find your doc. I said, it's in Haiti? And so I had never thought about going to a mission trip in Haiti, but that's what I did. I got in touch with you, and that was the one I think that was getting ready to break Guinness Book of World Records. How many chiropractors on a mission trip?
Oh yeah, that's one. We did set that record. We set
Right.
that record of 75,000 people on that mission trip.
Oh, it was nuts. And what was great was he was absolutely right, because that's where I met you. That's where I met Simonetti. That's where I met Henry Rosenblum. And so it was such a great experience. And then to speak philosophy with the students. And that's totally where I found my talk. Yeah, I had no idea that it was on a UN base and outside of Wanamint, Haiti. That's where I would find my talk. Then the opportunity through this out of New Beginnings to have this opportunity, because how many of the New Beginnings people have been on your mission trips? Anybody that wants to serve chiropractic in the most pure way possible, you have to go with Dr. Peter on one of his mission trips, because it's just such a cool experience. And I mean, I love that they call us the touch healers. I think that's fantastic. And so anybody, you have to come meet Pete at the very least at New Beginnings. We talk a lot with a lot of the folks I've done these with, that it's not necessarily just the what you hear during the seminars, but it's the relationships and the camaraderie that you have in between the seminars, out at the bar, the restaurants, on the boardwalk at Asbury. That's what really New Beginnings is about, is building a family.
Well, it's so true. And let me just tell you that Jim Dubell has really, for me, has done wonders. I mean, he has always given me the floor anytime I ask him. In 2010, the earthquake happened in Haiti, and I happened to leave the Port-au-Prince where the earthquake happened the day before the earthquake, and I returned back 3 days later. But in 2010, about 6 months after the earthquake happened, we set up something called the Humanitarian New Beginnings, and I had people from all over the world who were humanitarians come to this New Beginnings, this particular one in 2010, and because they were missionaries, or they had a church, or they were somehow involved with something chiropractic and humanitarian efforts. And then Jim let all those people come. He gave me 1 day to do this event, and he let all those people come for free. Mm. 1 day New Beginnings, he gave them all for free. And so, yeah. And so now what just happened, and this is one of the things that happens to me. I just love going there, not about anything about the mission or anything, but I love that too. And you put the two together, and that's what happened. But for example, about a year ago at a New Beginnings, the League of Chiropractic Women is becoming a New Beginnings. They started at New Beginnings. And so they have this breakfast every morning of New Beginnings. I hopefully they're having it this time. I don't know, but they usually have it almost every New Beginnings, where they have a breakfast down at the before the New Beginning starts. So they have their breakfast about 7 o'clock in the morning. And I go to all of them. I became a member of the League of Chiropractic Women at one time. My dues are not current though. But anyway, but I was a member for a couple of years. And what happened on this last New Beginnings, 2 New Beginnings ago, or maybe 3, I started going to the meeting, and I had this idea in my head that I want to opening a birthing center, because the stats in Haiti are unbelievable. 1 in 200 women die in childbirth, and 1 in 5 children die in childbirth. So with opening a birthing center, we could save a lot of lives. And so I was talking with Patty Giuliano, and I was talking with Selena Sigafus and Sharon Gorman. These are all the people that come to New Beginnings all the time. They come every single one. I don't think Patty's missed one, because I told her Ellie missed 2. She goes, I haven't missed a one. I believe that's what she told me. But anyway, just the camaraderie of hanging with these women at New Beginnings. And now I'm opening a birthing center in June. We hired 3 midwives. We built a building. We built a building for like $100,000 from all donations. And we hired 3 midwives and a nurse. And June, the next mission trip in June, we are opening the birthing center. And again, all of this at New Beginnings. So for me, it's been an area where I get to have camaraderie, not only camaraderie, but mastermind. That's the thing with Think and Grow Rich, is what he always talked about. Napoleon Hill talked about mastermind. And to me, this New Beginnings is a mastermind. Not only do you get the speakers, but we go out to lunch together, we go out to dinner together, we go out to breakfast together, and the camaraderie, the family, and the mastermind. That's the big thing. It's really the mastermind.
Yeah, it's really just an amazing event, and for people that don't know your thing, when I was on the event and I went to uh, and saw where the orphanage is now, that it was I don't even know if it was a two-thirds building, and there was one building, and now this complex that you've created for these kids in Haiti, and now we're adding a birthing center. What you're doing down there is absolutely amazing. So for folks that want to really do something big in the world, come hang out with Dr. Morgan and see what he's doing and be a part of what he's doing in both Haiti and the Dominican Republic. I absolutely promise it'll be your most rewarding week in chiropractic probably ever. It's just extraordinary what you're doing down there, and it's pretty cool. That's what happens at New Beginnings. Jim is about planting seeds in people's lives to get up and speak or to find a calling to do something. And you see these amazing stories of people that have simply come from A, attending, or B, getting up on stage at New Beginnings. And it just makes, I think, our profession that much richer.
Hey, listen to this. So on this next New Beginnings, you have Rob Scott, president of Life University, Eddie Cordero, president of Sherman Chiropractic College. Now, both of those guys have been in New Beginnings before, and both of those guys have come to that island of Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, or Haiti. Eddie came to Dominican Republic. Rob came to Haiti. I've had Guy Riekman that I've met at New Beginnings. I've had Jill LaMarche that I met at New Beginnings. Yourself, I met at New Beginnings. All of these guys have come on a mission trip, and the vehicle really has always been New Beginnings because that's where I meet all these people.
Right.
And anybody could do this. It's just I'm just a guy from the Bronx, New York. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. So certainly, and that's not even to talk about. I'm still in practice. I practice Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. I practice today, and so my practice is really strong. And you know what, Brian? I don't even think about it. I'm not advertising, and I'm so busy. It's like, okay, great. I had to stop at Ford lately because I changed my hours because I'm so busy all the time without advertising, without anything, just letting people know that I do this mission, and New Beginnings keeps me on purpose. And so for anybody, and you know what, you don't go to all of the speakers. You go to most of them. I go to most of them, but you can't go to all of them. But when you're in the halls talking to people, everywhere you go, there's just chiropractic. And I think that's the key thing. Something like this is key, especially if you're a new graduate. Like Simonetti, you were talking about Steve Simonetti. He's doing a great program on Saturday, on a Friday night. Friday night, he's doing a program where he can teach these young docs how to get corporate talks, how to give talks to how to not only give the talk, but how you walk the talk and how you get the talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dr. Henry and I are also doing you mentioned those guys' names, but Dr. Henry and I are also doing a technique seminar on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
So for all the new grads, any students, these things are really awesome. I mean, I did that when I was a new grad. We did these kind of things, and it just carries over. So we can attract those new grads. It would be really beneficial.
Well, what better place to do it than the Jersey Shore, right?
Yeah, in almost the beginning of June, a week shy of June, the weather's going to be great. You're on the beach. There's nice restaurants on the boardwalk. The hotel is right by the boardwalk. Jim has always done these New Beginnings where we're by the boardwalk. Some New Beginnings, he does a fire walk. We've done many firewalks. Jay Han, I went to about 50 firewalks over the years. As a matter of fact, the first New Beginnings we had, there was a firewalk at that one. And then we've done them over the years. But there's all these different things. Sometimes we do a bonfire on the beach. Sometimes in the winter, a bunch of guys jumped in the ocean in January. So we always have during Halloween, we always have the greatest costume parties.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always something really cool at New Beginnings, and but the chiropractic is the number one, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. So, folks, it is May 20th through 23rd, so it's starting to get close. But if you can get up to the Jersey Shore, New Jersey, Asbury Park, May 20th through 23rd, it'll be a fantastic weekend. You can hear about Dr. Peter and his amazing story with his mission trips. The technique is going to be fantastic, and what Steve's doing, getting corporate talks, that's going to be amazing. So it's not just rah rah spizzeringdom. It's a lot of tools that you can take home and immediately implement on Monday. And a lot of people have talked about, we always love leaving New Beginnings because we know Monday that week we're going to be slammed. New patients are going to call in, old patients are going to reactivate, and then it's just a different feeling when you're done with New Beginnings. So please go to www.nbchiro.com. That's www.nbchiro.com to register. We would love to see you in Asbury Park. And Pete, I don't know if you know this, if you've heard the other videos, but at the Berkeley Hotel, when I was in high school, I used to park cars.
Yeah,
So
I heard.
I'm not only speaking Thursday night, I'm parking cars. Jim's got me a little red valet suit. And so, yeah, I can't promise you'll get your car back. You're going to get whatever I give you, but
Bringing back some memories for you.
absolutely. Yes, so I say I'll be. So if you want to talk about Haiti, that's fine. But if you want to watch me park cars, come to New Beginnings at Asbury Park. And listen, Pete, I'm sure we'll have a bourbon and a cigar. If you like a cigar, Pete and I will be around smoking one and talking chiropractic to anybody that'll listen. So.
And let me just say this. Let me answer that. In the very beginning, on the first day of New Beginnings, for those who are already coming and watching these videos, you may not know this, but or you may, but some people don't participate in it. But the first day when we open up with a candlelight ceremony, and when we close New Beginnings, we close with a candlelight ceremony. And those are some of the most special moments that we have. And my really good friend Jay Han is being honored at this New Beginnings, and this guy has been my mentor from the very first day at New Beginnings. Jay Hant and his wife Kathy have been my mentors from that very first day, and I'm so happy that he's winning this award, which is the most prestigious award there is in the philosophy of chiropractic right now. One of the most prestigious awards, and so Jay Han, well worthy of it, and come celebrate Jay because he's a really special person.
No, I absolutely agree. And it's going to be a huge weekend. So, folks, come see again, www.nbchiro.com. It's getting close, less than a month away. And we look forward to seeing you there. So, Pete, looking forward to it. Thanks for being on.
Great. Thanks for having me. I'll speak to you soon.
Sounds great.